Hello. Now we'll connect the sensors of the read switch and sensor button to the Control DTX version 2. The read switch looks like this. It is a sensor that reacts to the fact that a magnet was brought to it. It looks like this. It has two contacts. The polarity is not important here. There are two magnetic plates here. When the magnetic field is brought up, the contact is thrown over and it joins to one of them. This closes the contact. Next contact works a little differently. This is a button. It does the same thing when you press it. When you do it, two contacts are closed and the logical unit is obtained. Buttons and read switches can be connected in series or in parallel. With the help of buttons and read switches, approximately 20 to 30% of the puzzles can be solved. If we need to solve a puzzle where it is necessary to put some figures, for example 1, 2, and 3 on the necessary places, and we need to see that they are placed correctly, without taking into account the order. It is then necessary to install 3 read switches and to plug them sequentially from one to the other and to the controller. And then insert magnets into the device, and when we place them all, the read switches will be closed, the circuit will close, and the controller will work. For everything to work well, you have to connect the read switches correctly. For read switches, buttons, and other switches, you can use the shielded 1 cable 26AWG or its analog to connect it. It is permissible here, but it is necessary that it has a shield, a braiding that we must properly solder. There's a rule such as signal screening. It consists in the following. Where we have a sensor, it is necessary to solder the screen to one of the contacts, which are already soldered directly to the sensor. This will screen the signal. To do this, you have to connect one of the contacts to the braiding, and that's how you do this. Next, we need to tin the tips. So the soldering is more convenient. Next, we take the read switch, as I've already said. The location is not important here. We take the heat shrink tubing, and cut off the excess. The soldering area should be limited to 3 to 4 millimeters, and gently soldered edge to edge. Check the soldering to be successful and solder the second contact. It requires a certain skill because the wires are always moving. We close the place of soldering by the heat shrink tubing and shrink it with the help of a blow dryer. After we've done this, the cable can be pulled out a little as it closes the soldering place in this way. We soldered everything on the sensor side. Now it is necessary to solder on the control side. That is, this cable goes somewhere in the room. It goes from a puzzle to the place of installation of the controller. We cut off all the shield that is here, and there are two contacts that we solder. Then we tin, or we crimp if we use the swage method. We remove the excess and insert it directly into the input groove. Note that by stretching like this, you can also remove the shield. With the help of the program, if you apply power to the controller, you can check that you have correctly connected the reed switch. It will react and show 1 when we bring the magnet. As for the buttons, they look like this. They should be soldered in the same way. They can be soldered by a shielded 1-ply cable 26AWG and also connected to the controller. The button has a group of LEDs. If you apply 12 volts here, the button will light up. It has such a light bulb. It can be replaced by a diode lamp, and it has 3 tips. The first one is COM, the second one is a normally open state, and a normally closed state. The normally open state is when we press the button and a logical unit appears between the contacts. Using a tester, you can check that there's a signal. So we take probes, testers, and push the button. The triggering is stable. Between these two contacts we have a normally closed state. That is, when the button is pressed, the signal is interrupted. Depending on the riddle, you will have to use normally open or normally closed state. We solder this button in the same way. There are 2 contacts. There's a shield. On the side of the button we solder the shield and 1 contact, and on the controller side we cut the shield. Thus the button works in the same way as the reed switch, if it is connected to a normally open state. Here it will be necessary to carefully solder, isolate all the tips from this side. It is also necessary to cut off the shield, and insert 2 signal wires into the controller. The polarity is also not important here. And this is how we connect the button sensor. Thank you for your attention.